Christ. Yo, this thing pulls like a fucking freight train. Holy shit. What up, Block fam? Welcome to today's episode where I am doing a ride on this Harley-Davidson Street Glide, but very far from a normal Street Glide. This thing has a ton of performance modifications done to it, one of the most significant being this Trask Stage 2 Turbo. And not to mention, on top of this Stage 2 Turbo, or attached to it, you have a Stage 4 131 engine kit for the Milwaukee 8 on this bike. So Milwaukee 8, Stage 4 131, plus Trask Stage 2 Turbo tuned. We got carbon fiber components everywhere. We got carbon fiber on the swing arm. We got carbon fiber bags, side covers, dash area. We've got carbon fiber inserts here as well. Different grips, risers from MJK Performance, top clamps. You've got a little plate that basically like causes the risers to come back a little bit so they're not going through the top area. We've got a radio delete, so did away with all that weight. We've got Dakota digital gauges, which I'll show you guys in just a second. Carbon fiber front fender, aftermarket brakes in front and rear, aftermarket suspension, can't quite remember the name, aftermarket seats, aftermarket gas cap, and another really significant one is the Baker Grudge Box. So you've got a 6-speed Baker Grudge Box transmission here, Trask top cover. This bike is just absolutely built to the nines. LED front headlights, there's just so much done to this bike. Floorboards, you got a Trask side cover, I forget what the clutch plates and clutch and everything is, carbon fiber linkages, chain drive. I'm sure there's stuff I'm forgetting, but you guys get the idea. Like, this thing is just totally insane, built to the nines. So yeah, as you guys can see, this bike is owned by Michael Bertini. As per the tag there, he does have a YouTube channel and he documented the entire build. If you guys want to go check it out, be sure to go to his YouTube channel. So he's a good friend of ours and he has had the bike up here at the shop. He's actually trying to sell it. Yeah, as of me recording this, he's maybe had this listed for like a week or two. I don't know what he's selling it for, but it's definitely not cheap. So if you guys are wanting to play on this level, it's a little costly. I did forget to mention, so in all that stuff that we're talking about, aftermarket, custom, blah, 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 check this out. He has the stock brake pedal, which is hilarious. So I think he did have an aftermarket brake pedal. He had mid controls on the bike, but whenever we installed the turbo on it, which we did a lot of the work for him here at the Blockhead Garage. If you guys want to book service here, blockheadgarage.com, fill out the form and we'll get you on the schedule. So yeah, he did have mid controls on here, and the mid control is pretty much attached to kind of here. And so the blow off valve, wastegate, whatever you want to call it, is it tile? Yeah, T-I-A-L. It didn't have clearance, and so we had to basically remove those. We put the footboards back on, and he didn't have an aftermarket brake pedal, so stock brake pedal it is. Anyways, I'm going to be riding this thing for the first time today, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and impressions on what it's like to ride Stage 2. This is confusing when I say this. A Stage 4 131 Stage 2 Trask turboed Street Glide. It's a mouthful. But this bike sounds incredible. I'm really looking forward to getting on it, twisting the throttle, seeing what it feels like, because turbocharged, man, that's a whole different monster. Forced induction. Let's go ahead and start it up, let you guys hear what it sounds like, and then we'll throw a leg over it and take it for a ride. There you go. Sounds like a turbo. It sounds like one of those like really big trucks that you hear like going down the road, but in a motorcycle. I would want to do this to a bike just for the sound. It's incredible. Oh, key important factor of this bike. The seat, the way it's shaped, so this holds you in. Very important thing about having a fast motorcycle. A seat that will hold you in properly. All right, so if we're looking here, we've got boost gauge here on the right. Can't remember how much boost we're running. I want to say like 8 pounds. We've got temp sensors on the left and right. So oil temp 94, head temp 127. We've got fuel level on these gauges, RPMs. And total transparency, we do have a check engine light, which is apparently from the ECU that's running on here, which is, I want to say a Thundermax, and there was some kind of battery issue. Whenever you had the battery issue, and we basically put it on a trickle, started it back up, threw a code for the battery, so we got to clear that. And then the key light is on because he removed the head unit here and the speakers, so there's no stereo. Apparently you have to go by the dealership to get the key light cleared to basically tell the bike that the stereo is no longer on it. So I'm gonna go pick up some lunch, and yeah, this is the bike that I'm taking to go get it. Michael Bertini has given me permission, so thank you, man, for letting me ride the bike and make a video on it. It's gonna be crazy. All right, let's cut to a more open road. Dude, the rear tire is slipping on me. I'm sure you guys can hear it whenever it starts out. The rear tire is basically breaking free. I need to watch this boost gauge. Yeah, we're getting up to like 8-9 pounds. Jesus, this is, holy shit. This is a monster. I will say, just for the few minutes I've been riding it, the clutch is incredibly stiff, but man, it kind of has to be, you know, with the Baker Grudge box, the amount of power that this thing is putting down, you got to have like really tight clutch springs. Surprisingly, I mean, it's really nice for cruising. I feel so upright. The ergonomics of this thing are like so upright. I will say also, on the right side, I am not utilizing that whole footboard at all. I am on the very edge of it, because if my leg were basically on it, like my calf would totally be touching the exhaust, kind of keeping it out there. We do have like that custom little mesh there to help a little bit, but yeah, using the brake, I feel like I'm kind of, you know, sticking my leg out a bit more, but that's all good. Man, shifting on this thing. So this is my first time, obviously, with a turbo. I've got a stage 4 on my personal bike. So it's a stage 4 131 with the SNS 590 cam, larger injectors, throttle body, all that good stuff. And just the power difference between that and this, and that's a fast bike. I mean, we're looking at 151 horsepower, 150 torque. This bike, we're looking at like 180 horsepower. Nuts. Bro, it is so f***ing responsive. It's insane. Like I was saying earlier, shifting, this is my first time riding with a Baker Grudge box, and this thing, man, shifting, it's like clunk, clunk, like really hard. You know, you can really feel it going into gear. Everything about this thing is just so much more stout. And yeah, I was talking about the ergonomics. I feel like I'm sitting very like upright. Obviously my foot not on that footboard because don't want to burn my leg. But yeah, I mean, you feel very like in the bike. You don't feel on top of the bike. So with a bike with like crazy power like this, we're in third gear and just f***ing ridiculous. The suspension on this thing, it's obviously raised up, so it does add to that like feeling of it being more nimble. You can throw it over a lot easier. But you guys aren't here to hear about the handling. You're here to see like the turbo and all that, right? That's what you guys are here for. Bro, this thing is crazy. I've talked about powerful bikes in the past, but damn, this is a whole other level of power here. It's insane. And the sound is just so addicting. All right, so right now I'm in 6th gear, 77 miles an hour, 2,800 RPM. I'm gonna back off a little bit just to see how like a 6th gear full grab of throttle feels. So, full grab, 8 pounds. Bro, you feel it immediately. It's so immediate. Like there's a little tiny bit where you can feel it starting to basically like kick in, and then it just like carries you. 6 gears still, just cooking, man. Crazy. Next level power right there. Holy shit. So yeah, hey, a Trask Turbo is great for the highway. That's totally gonna be my excuse to like get one. Be like, yeah, you know, like I do a lot of highway riding, so I need a Trask Turbo. So, you know, I just can't be bothered with downshifting, you know, 1 or 2 gears. I just want to be able to like grab a handful of throttle in 6th gear and be moving. Because that's, dude, that is exactly what just happened. As soon as that turbo spools and boom, kicks in, like you are feeling it. That is crazy. Bravo, Michael Bertini. Great build, man. This bike is freaking crazy. Bro, it feels like it wants to wheelie just constantly. It's like it doesn't matter what gear you're in. You just pull back on throttle and it just feels like it wants to pull up. the sound and the ability to have just power everywhere, I'm sold. I'm so sold. The only thing I don't like that I can tell you so far is the fact that like I gotta kind of hang my right foot off of this floorboard pretty much the entire time like that. The heat from this thing, I can definitely feel it on the leg whenever I'm coming to a stop. So I mean, I'm about to hit some stop and go traffic up here. I wanted to do like, you know, a little bit of interstate highway riding just to see how it felt, and then, you know, stop and go like in town. It's a lot of like the style of riding that I do, you know, just around here in Orlando. Can you guys see that? Can you see when the turbo kicks in? I think you can, because I mean, you can definitely feel, so I can feel it, but like, you know, it's accelerating and then it's like accelerating just even more, but it's enough to like throw me back even. So I hope you guys are picking that up on camera, because it is, the feeling of it is so noticeable as compared to like a non-forced induction bike. You know, if you're looking just naturally aspirated, like I said, I've ridden some crazy naturally aspirated bikes, but forced induction is a whole other monster. This thing's a beast. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that heat on the right leg though. Ooh, it is toasty. Sheesh. Serious sheesh. Like I said, I'm going to pick up lunch. Nothing crazy today, you know, I just want a sandwich. You know, you have those days where like, you don't feel like having anything just like extravagant. You're like, I literally just want a sandwich. Honestly, at the shop, if I had bread and like lunch meat and stuff, I'd just make a sandwich, but you know, I don't have any of that stuff at the shop, so I'm just going by Subway. Got me a chicken sandwich. I'm gonna pick me up. Listen to that. So good. I really hope that's coming across on the microphone and you guys are able to hear it, because it just sounds so good. Bertini, bro, great job, man. This thing is sick. I can't believe you're selling it. Honestly, I would say like I wish I had, you know, the ability to purchase it, but like it's already done. It's already a completed project, and so much of the joy that I have with motorcycles is getting them to the point, building them, putting that touch on them, what you guys have come to call the Blockhead touch. I mean, I would love to do something like this, and I think that's our plan with my OG Dyna. So for those of you that don't know the story of my OG Dyna, I started out the channel with an Iron 883, and then I ended up trading that Iron 883 for a Dyna Low Rider S. Now, the guy that I sold it to ended up getting into an accident, totally not his fault. A guy ended up turning through an intersection as he had the right of way. The guy that bought it, he's okay, but the bike is totaled. Somebody messaged me a link to a salvage auction website on Instagram a while back asking if it was my bike that was totaled. I checked it out on the listing. It's totally my bike. Ended up putting in a bid on it, thinking like, whatever, you know, like I'll place a bid. If I win, cool. If I don't, whatever. Totally forgot I placed a bid. A couple days later, I get a phone call from the auction company saying that I won. So I ended up winning back my original Dyna, which was a huge part of the channel. Now, we want to rebuild it, and one of the things that we ended up calling it, just, you know, by circumstance, I had it under a blue tarp in my garage, and I called it the Blue Elephant one time. The community latched on to me calling it the Blue Elephant that one time, and they would not stop calling it. Where's the Blue Elephant? What is the Blue Elephant? So they didn't know it was the Dyna. So I finally unveiled it, did a reveal video, basically said, fine, like I either want to name this bike the Blue Elephant, or I want to just do like the enemy of Goldzilla, and we'd call it Mecha Goldzilla. Right? And so that would basically dictate which, like how we built it out, like the theme of it, if you will. And so the community ended up really loving the story, obviously, of the Blue Elephant. And so we want to rebuild that, and we're going to do it forced induction, and we're going to call it the Blue Hellephant. So stay true to its name, and then we're going to have some fun with it with some forced induction. That's the plan anyways. Let me go grab the sandwich. I'll be right back. Skadoosh. Lunch acquired. Let's ride this thing and give you guys closing thoughts and all that. You gotta hear me start it up, because that's so good. It's a very tall bike, man. I'm tiptoeing it. Oh damn, that do be a good looking bike though. And the rider, you know what I'm saying?
Hello, 911 emergency. There's a handsome guy in my house. Oh, wait a second, cancel that. It's only me. Sheesh. All right, so my closing thoughts on the
Stage 4 131, Stage 2 Trask turbocharged Harley-Davidson Street Glide. This bike is a fucking monster. There's power everywhere, man. As soon as like that turbo kicks in, you know, like you can feel it like starting to just, I mean, push you right along, no problem. Just the amount of power that it has, it's pretty insane. I feel like I could pull up a wheelie pretty much like in any gear, maybe not sixth, but it's definitely wanting to constantly pull up on you. Like you can just feel like that amount of power. If I were to like kind of shift my weight back a little bit instead of having it forward like I do whenever I'm like getting on some pulls, it would definitely lift. No problem. So power wheelies, easy peasy all day. The pros of it, obviously, like crazy extra power just all over the place. If you're cruising, it's cool. If you're on the highway, you know, and you're going in 6th gear at 70, you guys saw me do that pull and pretty much just carries you right along. So it's unlike any bike that I've ever ridden. I usually pay attention to obviously the power and like the delivery of it with like the cam profile, but with boost, man, it's just, it's a totally different experience, totally different feeling. And just see, that's what I'm talking about. It's just like immediate. You get on throttle, it's like you can hear like start to spool up, and then it just kicks into gear, man. It's wild. I'm almost at a loss of words on like how to explain it really, but it's very visceral. You need to feel it. If you have a chance to test ride a motorcycle that is turbocharged, I would highly recommend it. So lots of perks, obviously, when it comes to power. Cons, man, this thing is definitely putting out like a good amount of heat on my leg, which is to be expected. So if you're going to be in a lot of stop and go, that thing is definitely going to punish your leg. I would not recommend getting caught in the stop and go and the lights, or if you're going to like big, you know, festivals or, you know, Daytona or like down Main Street or something like that. Like this is not the bike to take down Main Street Daytona during bike week, like, because you're going to just cook your leg. It's going to be well done by the time you're done on the strip. Overall, I love it. Does riding this bike convince me more to get one or to not get one? It definitely pushes me more in the direction of wanting to do something like this to a personal bike. So yeah, absolutely love it. Michael Bertini, once again, good job. You guys be sure to go give him a follow, check him out on his channel. I'm pretty sure it's just youtube.com/Michael Bertini. Yeah, thank you again, man, for letting me ride the bike. I really appreciate it. It's just a freaking ripper, man. Like, rear tire spinning, man. Like, that's you need some stickier rubber, bro. I hope the video was insightful for you guys. If it was, do me a favor, be sure to hit the like button. If you guys aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. Be part of that Bell Yeah squad. And until next time, you guys ride safe out there, stay vigilant. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.